Good evening, everyone. Remember on Christmas when it was 80? Oh, what a distant memory that will become this weekend. Welcome in, everyone. I know there's a big football game going on, so I won't take too long, but I did want to give everybody an update on what we're looking at and what we should prepare for, what we should not prepare for. Hello, Mr. Perkins. Waiting all day for this. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I saw your note earlier, so thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that. And so, as you probably heard, as I talked about this morning on my reel this morning, is that you have probably heard of a potential for some winter mischief this coming weekend. And that is definitely a possibility. As I said this morning, it is definitely going to be cold. So we know that much for sure. So, hello, Miss Russell, or excuse me, Dr. Russell, excuse me. And so it's going to be interesting. I put it that way. So I just want to start off with this map, this radar temperature map, and it's a nice balmy 41 degrees at DFW 45 there in Saxe, and it will definitely warm some this week before Friday. Nothing crazy, probably 60s at the most, and but that will be the end of that for quite some time. Well, maybe I should say quite some time, but definitely for something that for some length of time, sort of into the early part of next week. So, hello, Misty. Hello, Jamerson. Yeah, good that y'all came on in to talk. I know there's another big sporting event going on, but we do need to talk about the weather. And since my Aggies aren't in it, I'm not as interested. But nonetheless, we will move on to the weather. So, where shall we start? So that is always the crazy stuff. So let's just start with some graphics. And before we kind of get into this weekend, I did want to just note that we do actually have some rain chances prior to this event, Tuesday night and Wednesday. As you can see, not a big chance, but it's been pretty dry around here most of the winter so far. So only a 20 to 40% chance west of DFW, 50 to 80%. That's probably deep East Texas. Not a lot of rain, probably less than a third of an inch. But I did want to point that out because we will see some weather prior to the event. And with that, I just wanted to show this because we do have a drought monitor. And unfortunately, some of Dallas County, most of Collin County, is now in the abnormally dry category, with nothing to get too crazy about or excited about. It's just that I wanted to show that because even though it's probably going to be mostly frozen precipitation, we do need some moisture. We just don't want it ice. But unfortunately, Mother Nature doesn't always give us a choice. Hello, Stacy. Yes, Gig'em. Okay, so what's going on here? So this is the Arctic air mass that is going to enter Texas on Friday. Originally, we thought it might enter Friday in the evening hours, but a lot of times what happens is with these systems, these cold Arctic air masses, they tend to really speed up and get here before we think they are. Now, today is Monday. This is all supposed to happen Friday, Saturday, and maybe into early Sunday. So we are still 4 days out. That is an eternity when it comes to forecasting winter weather in North Texas. So, like I said, we're mainly sure that it's going to be cold. Other than that, you could see some snow, you could see some sleet, you could see some freezing rain. Out of all three of those categories, you don't want to see freezing rain. You don't really want to see sleet, but you'll definitely take sleet over freezing rain. And then, of course, we all just wanted to, hey, you know what? When it gets cold enough, just start snowing, and then we're all good. So, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to work out that way. So I wanted to show this because I think this kind of encapsulates everything pretty good. Hello, Miss Marsh. Yes, I'm excited to maybe see some snow too. I think we actually will see some snow. Just depends on how much and when. So as you can see from this map, on the top chart, impacts from snow, and the way the Weather Service does this is they say, hey, well, what's the chance of at least moderate impact? Not crazy, but kind of moderate. And this is snow though, the top. So as you can see, we are kind of on the edge of a moderate impact of snow. Now, when you come down here, chance of at least moderate impacts from ice, we're kind of on the edge there too. Most of the ice right now, it's forecast to be south of us. Most of the snow is forecast, at least the impacts from snow are supposed to be north of us. So now, does that mean nothing's going to happen? No, of course not. It just means we're right on that borderline. I think most of us would want the snow as opposed to ice, but it is too early to know that right now. So, but again, going to the impacts, this is Thursday into Friday, probability of at least moderate weather impacts. As you can see, North Texas is kind of on the edge. So Thursday night, Friday, probably not going to expect much from an impact standpoint. From Friday night into Saturday, that's where it changes. As you can see, this red is at least 60% and higher to where we'll see at least a moderate impact from winter weather. Now, again, this doesn't get into specific precipitation type. It just says, hey, there'll be some winter impacts here into Friday night into Saturday. Saturday night into Sunday, you can see it starts to lessen a little bit, 40% to 50% for North Texas, but still there. Now, specifically for North Texas, now again, this is Monday evening if you watch this after the fact, and so it is going to change. And I probably should have said that in the very beginning. It is going to change. Now, how much is it going to change? That's kind of the key. So it's going to be something to watch. And by the way, before I forget, I do need to apologize to my Instagram viewers because I could not get the portrait to work on this particular broadcast, so you're just seeing part of the screen. So I apologize about that. But if you're on Instagram and you want to see the full graphics later, just go to my Facebook or YouTube page. You can see that. So a little public service announcement to my Instagram fans. Hello, Abra. How are you doing, ma'am? So again, this map's going to change. But again, those bigger maps I showed you, greatest chance for snow north of DFW, greatest chance for ice south of DFW. We're right in the middle. So what that probably means right now is that we would see both. We would probably start out with, we're going to start out with rain, liquid rain. Then we're going to start out, probably have a mix. Could be some freezing rain, sleet, and then maybe toward the end of the event, snow. Now, like I said, that's going to change. The precipitation type is going to change. We could see more snow than ice. We could see more ice than snow. Let's hope we don't see that, but we could. So that is kind of where we're at this point. Now, the other part of this, like we know for sure, is that it's going to be cold. Doesn't matter what it does precipitation-wise, light, moderate, heavy, it's going to be cold. So we always talk about the 4 Ps, and you want to protect your pipes and your pets and your people and your plants. So that is the 4 Ps. So as far as the cold goes, it doesn't matter what the precip type is. It's going to be cold. So preparations for cold, you can go ahead and start doing now. That's wrapping the outdoor pipes, putting the styrofoam on your faucets outside. You don't have to drip anything in your house yet, of course, but that's comes more Saturday into Sunday. Abra, I'm glad you're doing good, Abra. Claire is really hoping for snow. Me too. I think most of us watching are probably hoping for snow. But anyway, so this map just shows the chance of overnight lows being 10 degrees or less. Now you may think 10, I haven't heard anything about that. Well, it's a possibility right now. I don't think it's a probability, but it's a possibility. So as you can see in the orange, that's a 30% chance of seeing 10 degrees or lower. Now, 30% chance, that's not very high. But it's, we'll see how this changes overnight. So Saturday night, Sunday morning, and probably Monday morning, depending on how much frozen precipitation we get, that's really going to determine how cold it gets. Because as you know, frozen precipitation on the ground will drop that temperature as well. So as far as freezing temperatures, probably going to be above freezing until sometime Friday evening. And then we'll probably stay below freezing probably until sometime Monday afternoon at this point. Hello, Debbie. Outdoor kitties, new straw. Yes, you will definitely need new straw for those outdoor kitties. Okay, so I want to start out with a couple of static maps, and we're going to get into some models. So I'm showing 2 maps for visualization. So this is the European model, which is kind of the one that first latched onto this. And I just show this. It's probably hard to see, but it's that 6.9. That's what you see right over Dallas-Fort Worth. If this is snowfall accumulation. Now, please don't get too excited because this is going to change. And also, too, what you can see is that we are right on the edge of seeing, quote unquote, heavy snow or no snow at all. So, but I just wanted to show it because that's definitely is a possibility. Now, here's the flip side of things. So this is also from another run. I'm sorry, this is a GFS. This is GFS. And yeah, the blue is snow, by the way. The reddish is sleet, and the pinkish is freezing rain. So Dallas-Fort Worth is right here. It's probably hard to see. So we're definitely in the red, which is sleet, and the snow not too far north. So again, right now, all the models are saying, Dallas-Fort Worth is probably going to be on the border between like all snow and all ice. Too early to tell as far as exactly what's going to happen, but something is most likely going to happen, and I'm going to get into that right now. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to some models, and I want to caution that these are read them at your own risk, because there's no one out there that has any credibility, myself included, that can tell you exactly what's going to happen. It just doesn't work that way. So before I forget, you're going to see in the right hand corner of the screen, those of you watching on Facebook and YouTube, our lovely sponsors, Ballard Boutique and Bakery, Amen Plumbing, and Bacon Roofing. They all make this happen, so thank you to those guys. If you need to go see those guys and gals, and if you need their services, please go see them. All right, so I'm going to start with this. So let me make sure this is the most up-to-date one. No, it's not the most. Okay. So I show this to give you an idea of what you're dealing with. So let me make sure when I got this the right time frame I want. Okay. So I know it's a little hard to read. Maybe I can make this bigger. There we go. All right, we'll make this a little bigger. And, okay, I'll be able to do that. Okay. So this is Saturday Saturday at noon. Now, this is a snapshot in time that's going to change. So let me say that again. It's going to change. However, it's a good exercise. All right. So some of these are blocking it, and I apologize about that. So this is what we call an ensemble and of models. And so this is something that we look at and say, hey, we take the reason you get that snow map I showed you and the ice map I showed you, that all comes from the blending of models. They take all these ensemble members, as they call it, and they kind of make it into one snapshot. But I wanted to show you this because that's what's so interesting about this whole scenario. So I know it's hard to see, but it goes from 1 to 20. And so 1, again, right on the border, ice, snow. Now, ensemble member 2, all ice. 3, pretty much all ice. 4, mix. Ensemble 5, bad news. We would be entombed in ice. 6, close. Now, here's what's interesting, because you look at 7, it's just going to be rain. It's going to be down south of us. Ensemble 8, a little bit of ice, but nothing big. Ensemble 9, nothing but rain. I love our sponsors. Let me get rid of them for a second. There we go. All ice. Ensemble 11, mostly snow. All ice. All ice. All ice. And we scroll down a little bit more. All ice. Ice. Snow. Snow. Ice. Ice. So, not saying it's going to be an ice storm. It's just right now, again, Monday evening, the 19th of January, that's what it's showing. Now, if you just go forward I do not want to do that. Let's do this. If you go forward in time actually, I don't want to do that. Go here. So this is Sunday at midnight. Ensemble 6, that looks pretty good for snow. Now, this is some of these other ensembles. Ice. Nothing. Precipitation ending. Still pretty good there. And then you see the system starting to move out. So I just want to show this because this is what you're dealing with right now. You're dealing with the national blended model saying, yeah, we're pretty sure it's going to do something, but we just don't know quite what. Now, with that, I'm going to make this a little smaller again. All right, so we're going to go to the European model. I've already shown that, but we're going to show temperature. All right, so this is Saturday at midnight. It's kind of hard to see, 27. Go back to here. You kind of see the I'm going to go backwards. So this is current, and you just kind of put this in motion. And you can definitely see that cold air start to come down. Now, here it doesn't get 21 is the coldest it gets in this particular one. Now, if you go to GFS, I was like, okay, how cold does the GFS say it's going to get? And then you kind of just scroll down here and, 21, 14, 23. So a little colder for GFS. You kind of get the gist of it. Now, as far as precipitation, actually, we're going to do simulated reflectivity. All right, so scroll this back a bit. This is back this up. So you can see quite a bit of reflectivity. This is not precipitation type, by the way. But if we go down here, we will go to precipitation type. And this is a little bit of the map I showed you earlier. Again, we're going to back it up to Friday afternoon, rain, ice, sleet. Now the GFS says we want to have some snow. So that's good that it's going to move on out. So those are just two. Now these the HRRR and the RAP and the NAM, those are all short-term models, so they're not going to be this far out. But these models are a little bit further out. Actually, that one's not. The CFS, I believe, is, yeah. That's not going to show what we want. Nope. Okay. All right, so we'll go back to. So the go-to models are right now are the GFS and the. Get this back on here. And the European. Those are the two big ones. So as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, certainly on Friday, we'll have a much better idea of precipitation type. Like I said, I think it's going to be cold for the most part, no matter what. Could get down to the teens in some places after everything's done. Of course, if it does precipitate, then it will definitely, get that cold and stay on the ground for a little while. But this is something that you will see some Wintergeddon type forecast that will say, hey, it's going to snow 20 inches, or we're going to have ice accretion of half an inch, which, by the way, that would be horrible. If you get ice accretion of a tenth of an inch, that will cause a lot of problems. So you're going to see some of that the next couple of days. I would just caution this. That's why I want to come on briefly and just talk about what you've heard, what you can expect. And so, yeah, Abra Wintergeddon. Well, I will say this, Abra. If the worst case scenario does come to fruition, and what I mean by that is it's really more ice than snow. Based on forecasted precipitation rates, it would not be good at all. Now, what I want is, well, first and foremost, I don't want anybody to lose power. I don't want anybody to have an accident, or emergency services can't get to where they can want to get. I don't want any of that. Now, what I would like though, since apparently it's going to be cold, and apparently it's going to do something precipitation wise, I would just rather it be all snow. And then that way, yes, Sherry, you just stole the words right out of my mouth. Fluffy snow. Can't say that. Fluffy snow and no ice. Now, we don't know what that's going to be yet. And typically, we won't really know a whole lot about the precipitation type and the timing of it until Thursday at the earliest. Now, come Wednesday, sure, you're going to hear more and more about it. And we are going to know a little bit more. And as each day gets closer, we're definitely going to know more. But it's something that we won't have a great handle on until Thursday evening would be my guess. And so right now, just to sum everything up, this is kind of what we're looking at. First and foremost, I will go back to my slides because that's probably the best way to describe it here. And we'll start. And like I said, if you just joined us, thank you for joining. It's going to rain, not big. Wednesday, that's before all this mess, and a little bit of a drought. not too big, but we do want to get some rain, especially before the spring and summer hits. So here's what we know. We know it's going to get cold. It could get down into the teens. So that's pretty much a given. What's not a given is how much it's going to precipitate and what type it's going to precipitate predominantly. I do think that at some point, starting Friday afternoon through Sunday morning, is that we most likely will see all three, four, I guess if you want to call it sleet and freeze rain. At some point, we will probably see all four of those. Now, hopefully the rain and the freezing rain and maybe sleet, hopefully we won't see much. Well, rain, that's fine. But hopefully we won't see much of rain or sleet. And then if that cold air gets here faster, it will deepen in the atmosphere a little faster, typically. And then we'll see all snow. So that's what that's the kicker. Now, as far as the timing, don't think you have anything to worry about until at the earliest Friday afternoon, and you're probably talking like after 3 p.m. Most likely right now is that you would see impacts starting Friday evening after dark, all day Saturday, Saturday night, and a little bit of Sunday. Sunday might be more of a lingering thing. That's what we're looking at. Now, again, we don't know what type is going to be predominant, and we don't know exactly when it's going to start, but we're getting close. Miss Marsh, let's see. Big question. Does your crystal ball say if the kids will have school Monday? That is definitely a crystal ball question, Christian. So let me answer it this way. Right now, based on the forecast, I would say no, they wouldn't have school. Now, that's a big if. And please don't take that comment and say, oh, Jeff said we're not having school. Not what I'm saying, at least, from any point, any kind of certainty. However, if it does precipitate in the frozen variety, whatever that is, ice, sleet, or freezing rain, sleet, or snow, it's going to be cold enough to where it's not going to go anywhere, at least not right away. And so if we have something on the ground Saturday, and even if it doesn't do anything on Sunday, it would be a mess on Monday. So, yeah. Claire's banking on this. Oh, I can tell you, there's a lot of people banking on that. Yeah, Blake, you're right. The forecast right now on Sunday is cloudy, high at 30. I will tell you this: if it precipitates more than they think, it won't even get up to 30, because that frozen precipitation on the ground will keep the temperature colder than 30. So I think 30 right now, unless something changes, which it could. I think 30 right now would be on the warm side. So what are the chances of snow next Monday then? I don't think it's going to snow next Monday. I just think that it is, it might be lingering from what's on the ground. That's Jamerson on YouTube. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Yes, preparing myself. Yes. And I think I still got the slide here. Let's go through these real quick, because I do want to emphasize that before we sign off. Well, again, this is a good graphic. Right now, as of Monday evening, greatest chances of snow, north of DFW, greatest chance of ice, south, puts us right in the middle. And it's going to be cold. Right now, not a great chance to see 10 degrees or less, but it's possible. 30% chance. And actually, maybe I backed up. Yeah, this is the one I wanted. Yeah, the 4 Ps. So, again, I'll go back to what I said in the very beginning. Don't get too hung up right now. Don't get too hung up on what type it's going to be and when and all that. Freezing rain, sleet, or snow. Right now, don't get too caught up in when, all that. But what you can get caught up in, quote unquote, is preparing for the cold, because that is going to happen. So again, protect your 4 Ps, your people, your pets, your pipes, your plants, and know how to cover those outdoor faucets. If you haven't been to Home Depot yet or Lowe's and you need those styrofoam covers for your faucets, you better get there tomorrow, because I'm sure they're going to run out like they always do. Hopefully you've already got yours from last year. But anyway, just do things like that. If you have a pool, make sure that your pool equipment is functioning, and because it's gonna be running for about 72 hours at least. So just make sure that you do that you do that. Just looking at my text here, it's because it's gonna be cold. We know that much for sure. So just make sure that you are prepared for that. Okay, so that's really about it. Before I sign off, I'm going to see if there's any latest model runs that are interesting. Just out of curiosity, that has not changed. Let's see. Nope, not that. All right, let's go here. I don't think anything's been updated since. Looking one more place here. I don't want that. Come on, computer. Here we go. All right, I do want to show this. Let's go back over here. Let's see. Okay. So I think Mr. Tim Perkins showed this earlier on his Facebook feed, so I appreciate him showing that. So this is that's accumulation. Okay. So after the storm event is over, gee whiz, Central Texas, 6/10 of freezing rain. I don't even want to think about that. Now up here, less than 1/10 of an inch, but it doesn't matter. It could be 2/200 of an inch, excuse me, and that would be a mess. So that is something to watch. Now, as far as just for grins, total snow accumulation. Now again, this is the GFS. As you can tell, not very bullish on snow for us. It's more of an ice type thing. And as the ensembles say, and let me make sure that's the latest. Yep. As the ensembles say, let me get to the height of the storm here. Mostly pink, which you don't want to see, unfortunately. But that's what it is right now. Tomorrow it's going to change, and Wednesday it's going to change. I don't think it's going to change a drastic amount, but it is going to change. So, but with that, again, I really appreciate everybody tuning in. Just prepare for the cold. I most likely won't do a live update tomorrow because one, I got city council in the evening, and two, we're far away, and tomorrow we could wake up to all the models saying it's going to be even worse, or we could wake up and they could say, hey, it's not going to be too bad. And then on Wednesday, the opposite's true. On Thursday, the opposite's true. You can kind of get the idea where I'm going. It's just going to be a little bit of a roller coaster from a model standpoint until we get to Thursday. Thursday is when it gets the real deal. Is going to happen. So anyway, I will definitely be talking to you Thursday, for Lord willing. Talk to you on Thursday. We'll see where we're at. But just prepare for the cold now. That's all you got to do. I will check. You're welcome, Blake. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, especially with the big football game going on. I'm about to go watch that now. But I just want to update everybody on just don't go to the extremes when you watch other people. And and by the way, I'm not dissing them at all. There are great people out there on social media that do a good job with this stuff. It's just that some do better than others. So my rule of thumb, even for me, is anything on the extreme side, you might just want to discard. And I mean that on both ends. If someone says, hey, it's not going to do anything, don't think I believe that. Probably not going to get a lot of that because that doesn't get a lot of clicks. But on the flip side, on the other extreme end, you say, oh my gosh, it's going to snow 20 inches or it's going to be ice, half an inch of ice. Nobody can say that with certainty right now. So if you're interested, I know the National Weather Service office in Fort Worth is going to do a live Facebook at 8. So I'm going to tune into that, see what they think. Heck, man, who knows what they'll say? Maybe they'll tell me I'm crazy. I don't know. But anyway, hopefully I won't say that. But anyway, appreciate everybody. You're welcome, Miss Marsh. Glad you tuned in. And as always, I'm watching the weather, so you don't have to. We will get through this no matter what. I will say that. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.